Hello and welcome to Dario's Comic School, and today there will be a video, let's put it down, about how I write comics, and you will be a bit surprised because there's different kinds of writing. I have here the Batman Year 1 to show you one kind of writing and layouting. For example, here in the back of the comic book Batman Year 1, you will find the color flats. You will find David Mazzucchelli's inks. I think he inked himself. But more importantly, you will find this. Let me put the camera down a bit. You will find come on. Okay. You will find the layouts of the comic. You can see blocked in blocked in panels, blocked in action, really great. And as you can see also for your drawing, if you wonder like, man, is that guy drawing from his head? Well, he's constructing the scene three-dimensional. As you can see, the reader comes from here. We start with a detective. Then we go here in the background, the car in between. As you can see, the detective in the background, the gun in the foreground, a blam. And he gets hit. And as you can see, very dynamic, always creating a three-dimensional space. But that's not the point of this video, but just to show you. And here you can see even like page layouts, how he was layouting the pages. We see here Selina Kyle, she wakes up, the cat, the room, some really great panels. And this is a video about how I write. And I show you this because I write more in storyboards. And this is how Frank Miller writes the scene. Like, it's pretty much, I cannot zoom in furthermore, yeah. Like he writes full figure of Batman rolling across the floor, holding the cat in the hands. And if you're a writer, if you're like Robert Kirkman, if you cannot draw, opt for something like this, like draw it out. Yeah, and then start from there. But we have here a guy called Darwin Cook. I'm a great fan of his, and I got my hands on a cheap Parker, and I love comic noir. I'm very much like Dark City and Torpedo and movies like Drive and all of that crime stuff. I'm really big on that, or like Heat and crime back in the day, as well as some spectacular gladiator movies. Like those were the cool movies. Like you as a regular guy, if you go to the movies, you want to see something spectacular, and people who chase crime fighters or crime, they usually have something the regular guy or girl does not have. As you can see here, like adventurous life, a girl, they have power, they have freedom, they have money, they have the looks, and normal people aspire to have that. As you can see, I was also painting up a singer called Dua Lipa. This is just a color study, and this is not yet finished. It's just blocking in the colors, the shape. As you can see, I made some mistake, and you can go always in and make it better. And the things I aspire, or the things we aspire, are always things of the higher nature, of the next big thing. And sometimes our pleasures are flawed, and sometimes we aspire to great things. And that's what the comic I'm planning, like Dario, this is my next comic, and I will show you how ideas come to me and how I write them. And I always already shared a bit of the process, and well, I already shared a bit of the process, and I think I got here is where I started again. Like, I was just watching some strange stuff, but who knows? Like, where Batman Year One is about Batman and maybe about crime and about people and about doing the right thing. And I don't know what Parker is yet about, or Berserk was about good versus evil. So this Dario Hawaii comic will be about alchemy. And I found out an hour ago that it's a bit like Breaking Bad, but in a positive sense. It's maybe like your Fight Club. And I was thinking about, well, the answer is always, and also I was thinking about the movie Limitless, even though I haven't seen it. So it's definitely the story of a guy who is a common guy, even maybe a fallen man, and how he rises to the top, but in the right way, not in the wrong way. And then, bear with me. I show you also, like, as you can see, my writing process, even if I don't write scripts, and I know my mentor hasn't written scripts either. What we do is we have an idea, and I will fill you in a second into the idea, and then we just draw storyboards and notes, and I will show you a bit more on a later video, because like I have definitely small albums full of videos, and I will link up here also a video which will show you the process of making how do you say, breaking down the plot, making better layouts, but this will come later. Let me just show you what I had. I had a bit of time yesterday, and this was a thought, like, who controls this reality? And I was watching a video from some spiritual guy, and he said there is like the true heavens, the God plane, the realm of our origin, and then there's the 7 planes, and then there's Earth. And Earth is somewhere below. Some say it's a school, some say there's a reincarnation cycle, and this is a thing so that the souls can go up to higher planes. Some say it's a trap. Then there was somebody, a black man, who said that an angle is a shape and everything is vibration in this universe, and that we're fallen angels, fallen angels, and that the English language does play with all those things, like a prism is a prison, and light, pure light, is white, but if you split it with a prism, you get different hues, and we're humans, and all of that stuff. And then there's a thing like, who rules this world? Is this an illusion? Is this a matrix? Some say Satan is the ruler of this world, and he wants to keep us trapped. Who is Satan? Like, all of these questions. And that is a comic I want to do. I want to do a comic that explores something, but it's also fun. And so, yeah, just sharing the process with you. So then, Dario Hawaii is about life, how to live life. Probably I should have written what life is, and what's truly, well, sometimes I write junk, and what's truly worth living for. Let me correct that here. Like, it's a question, and I want to answer it, and that's always how to live life, what life is. And then also the best way to get what you want is by deserving it, and like stuff like this. But we will come in a second to the Walter White moment. So, what do you have to offer? You are the person who gives them access to it. This was about thinking where I am now and where I can go to. And this is like the future. This is kind of power fantasy, but maybe also a direction where I'm heading. So I'm creating my reality, but by drawing it. So this is what I envision the comic to be. And if you're creating a comic, sometimes your gut instinct or the first pictures you're given work with them. Like I was just thinking, if I release a comic that's called Dario Y, and you get it in your hands like this, what's the first page? What do we see? If we open like the first page of Batman, this is what we see. We see Gotham. We see text of Commissioner Gordon. He speaks. You see the coloring. Batman, Bruce Wayne returns to Gotham too, and both arrive at a city. So we have the arrival of Commissioner Gordon, and we have the arrival of Bruce Wayne to the city, and both in their first year one. And Gotham City is riddled with crime, and both Bruce Wayne and Commissioner Gordon want to change that. So these are the first pages, and you have already the premise. And then a few pages later, we already see how they take action. Like Commissioner Gordon gets into a trap. Bruce Wayne wants to fight the crime on the streets. We're already in action step 2. So I was thinking, how does the comic start? And the first thing that came to my mind is we started a TV interview. Not the best start, I know. I would love to start with action, but this is what came to me. And I was watching a day ago, like how girls lust over guys during an interview. And that's what I'm aiming for. I mean, call me shallow or not, but this is what I'm building right now, because this is what I want. And I want also a family and a career, and maybe it's not possible, but this is what I'm aiming for. So all of these guys were jacked, and I'm trying to get this year in the best shape of my life. And so Dario Y starts with the interview, and they are asking him, she's kind of flirting with him, and he stays really cool. So he's in top shape, and they talk. And she says, man, how did you get to be a rich millionaire by 42? You look so you're young. What's your secret? All of this. So we have a couple of key points. Like at 42, he's a rich guy. He looks good, and he looks young. And this could be all vain, but it's not, because as we progress with the story, we will find out, in a second we will get a flashback, his Walter White moment, and we will get a flashback, or maybe start at the beginning, how he was not in shape, how he was broke, how he was lonely, and how he changes that. So this comic is kind of a fun self-help adventure. Kind of your name is Earl, but just in a comic way with cool demons and babes, and we will know what he changed, what he used to do, and what he changed, and how he got from a poor artist to a rich artist, how he went from lonely to having a tribe, the woman in his life he wanted to, and how he went from sickness to health and youth. Because, like, I believe just a few stories, when I was young, I had dermatitis, all my skin was riddled with, I don't know, a lot of stuff. These things, those come from training. Those come from barbells and dips and all of this stuff. But as you can see, my skin is clear all over my body, but it used to be very inflamed. And also, I went to the doctor, and always the doctor said, oh, this one's broke, or this one doesn't work. And we always try to do things from the outside, but Health and youth come from the inside. The things you eat are things that build you up or tear you down. And so I will share also this knowledge. So she lusts over him. He's 42. I don't know, but this is what I got in my head. And so she says, man, you released your comic, and today will be your gaming convention for your End Times TCG, and I'm creating a trading card game. And Dario, why? Like in Yu-Gi-Oh, you will have a trading card game in this game. And more on this later, but the End Times TCG is truly about our times, and it tries to teach people about good and evil through the game and through its comics. And I do the same. And so then she says, man, I can't wait to see you at the gig tonight. You're playing at the theater. So we learn he's a rich artist. He looks young. He will play a gig tonight. And so he's really the fantasy, the perfect day I could envision. And so we see the fans, but in the crowd, and that's where the drama starts, we see also 3 bad guys. And one, like I stole this right away in my imagination from Wolverine, from Age of Apocalypse. There's a guy called Pierce, and he's a human enhanced with machine parts. And he says, there he is. And then he says, now boss, and then no, tonight at a gig. And instantly, like, it's not the best, but this is how I write. I already have a beginning for my comic. I have a dramatic point. There are some adversaries. You don't know who they are. There's a crowd. Then she asks him, how did you achieve all this? And we're getting to the point. And as you can see, I'm not writing down anything like Frank Miller here in Batman Year One. I'm not writing down scene number 1. You see this. If you're a writer, if you do not write in this way, then write it down. And a good teacher never tells you what to do. Sometimes, yes, but in the end, it's your decision. And as you can see, this is how I write. I write in thumbnails. I write from my gut. And then I work with that. And I will definitely hone you, but I wanted to share the process. And then she says, how did you achieve all this? And that's an important point. We're getting to the meat of this. And then he says, well, my life wasn't always this good. And then you're starting to notice. We started pretty vain, pretty illustrious. And now we have a threat. Now we have the why of the story, the purpose of the story, where it will go, and then we get the flashback. I don't know, this is just, and then you can play around. This is not set, but this is just the outline for a story, and then we get the flashback at 38, and then he lives at his mom, or he crashes again at his mom. Maybe he had to move in, maybe he got a divorce, or maybe, you know what I mean, and he's broke, he's lonely, and I have also seen a guy who divorced and was 80,000 in debt, and then he lived with his best friend's mom, and everybody was giving him shit, and then 3 days later he was a millionaire. Sounds very cheesy, but he put in the work, he created some business, and then it just took off. And so we start here at the lowest point, and I will show you in a second how we will show this. Here it's just written down, it's weak. We will come in a second to the show, don't tell. So here I was writing down, I was at rock bottom, then he tells, but this is weak. I will change it in a second. And I wanted to live life to the fullest. And already in the first 3 pages, I, the writer, writing this down, this is not what I was planning to do. It is what came out of my pen, out of my head, out of my gut, and showed me what this comic is about. You got the end point where he wants to be. He's rich, he's making money, he's lusted over, he seems to be a man. Then he tells man once, but it wasn't always like this. And then he tells us he was broke, he was lonely, he lived at his mom at 38, and it was a rock bottom. And this is you can relate to this, because sometimes we feel either you're just reading this for having a good adventure, a good cool story where demons are slain and beautiful babes will shoot guns, and that's fine, and or you're also here to empathize with this character and get out of your rock bottom yourself. Maybe you can learn something from this character, and this is what movies and books do. Sometimes you get a certain value from that person and you think, man, I want to be a badass like that guy. And then we get a flashback, and from the flashback I then show how he goes to the tournament, and then at the evening he will play the great gig, and at that gig he will battle the bad guys. And then I don't know if they will battle in private or they will battle an intimate fight. But what you have is you have a beginning, then you have the flashback, then you have stuff that happens, and then at the end of the comic you will have a big fight and new knowledge or something. You know what I mean? We have like a curve that goes from this to this to this to this to a peak. Simple. And then I got something like the handshake from there's a movie called Jacob's Ladder with Christopher Walken. I've never seen that, but he touches once a guy played by Martin Sheen, the future president. He's not yet the president, and he touches the guy's hand, and while he touches the guy's hand, something happens. Like he can see, like the Christopher Walken guy can see the future, and he sees how this president. Then we switch to a room, and in that room, he starts the rockets, the nuclear rockets to destroy and annihilate Russia. And something like this is also in a HBO show called Carnivale, and also in Unbreakable with Bruce Willis. And this came to me, like he shakes hands with the people and the fans, and then he touches this guy, this Pierce guy, this evil guy, and he sees like he gets a vision of an atomic bomb, and how he gets destroyed, and he sweats, but he remains cool. We don't know. Does he know? Does he know what he is? Does he not know what's going on here? Maybe he knows already about demons and all of this stuff. And we're creating interesting things. And then I thought this Pierce guy should look like Liquid Snake. And then this Dario Y says to his butler or to his entourage, prepare, we have tonight, things are going down. And the evil guys know it too. This Pierce guy doesn't know, does he know, you know what I mean? Like stuff like this. And here I was writing down like Christopher Walken, Jacob's Ladder, the handshake, what I was telling you. And what I got, like what came out of my gut was like good versus evil, angels versus demons, everything very on this earth plane, but there's something behind this, and it has to do with the false sun, which is maybe atomic bombs or the end of the world or World War III. And then I got into Unbreakable, and then I got into James Bond. And I never really seen the James Bond. I'm a 90s kid. I know only the Pierce Brosnan James Bond, but I saw that Christopher Walken was in A View to Kill, played something called Zorin. I like the name. I like how Christopher Walken looked. Then I saw the Dogma, the Prophecy, and yeah, you're getting an idea where this is coming. Like the divine inspires you, the dark wants to get you down, wants to destruct everything, and so it's a battle, good versus evil. I even wrote down Viggo Mortensen that plays the Satan, or not Satan, he plays Lucifer, the fallen angel in the Prophecy, and I wrote down Constantine and the Invisibles, and these are not direction. If it were for me, I would draw some fantasy stuff, something with elves and dwarves, but this is what's coming to me, so I allow it. And then after all this down spiral, I thought, man, but this comic needs to be fun too. It needs to have some fun moments, some guitar moments, some beautiful, because life is not just evil and darkness, life is also beautiful. And I will wrap this up in a second. But yeah, then I thought, man, this needs to be like, it needs to be dark, but it needs to be also light, like Back to the Future, The Power of Love. And yeah, then I was going into dark shit again. And then this is what I leave you with, the Walter White moment, where his flashback, we see his 38th birthday, and we see how he lives. And there is in some movies, or in most movies, or in most good movies, and here I was watching The Prophecy. There's a movie where a guy, he's employee of the month, and you can see he wants to hang himself, and the room is really shitty, but you see he had a girlfriend and he had all those good things, but those things are gone now. And this characterization I want to do for Dario, where you can see that he has a book on his shelf about depression. You can see the comics, the tools, the pages that he does comics, but it's really not in a place he want to be. And this is like show, don't tell, where you really want to see something like this, like characterization. Let me show you, and then I close this video because I gotta eat, and then I gotta go and teach how people draw. Well, there is no, I don't find one, but there is, like, you see, like this is kind of telling, like it's a Frank Miller thing, but it's also showing you how he works there, and how he has a family, but then the look she gives him, and yeah, maybe something's up. And then they spend time together, and Commissioner Gordon has a wife, but he spends so much time with this young, beautiful detective, and they're coming closer. And this is, it is tell, but it's also a lot of show. I will end this video, and we'll see ya.